was a bit surprised because just 2 days before the IPOs, and it was a halt. So I was a little bit surprised. In China, the government dominated the market. So I think it's up to the government to justify their decisions. So based on the policies and the recent policies issued by the government, maybe it is justifiable move. I think the major reasons behind that is to curb the rising the household debt, and especially stop the younger peoples from over borrowing. So this is what I read from the statement issued by the government to try to prevent the young people fall into the trap of uncontrolled and blind consumptions. So maybe the government has more statistics than I have. So they think the household debt level reached to critical levels. So that's why they want to use the end group as an example, as a signal to the market, and to eliminate all the peer-to-peer lending platforms. I think the risk is from the small P2P platform, not from like an end group, because they have the technology and also they have the backup from the capital market. Actually, the core business of payment is not as lucrative as we expected, because if you read their IPO perspectives, the revenue from the payment business only counts for around 30%. I think less than 30% of their total revenues. So, and also the profit margin is not very high. But the payment business help Ant Financial get access to a huge volume of the behavioral data from the consumers. So it will help them to market their credit products and their financial products. From the IPO perspectives, the micro lending contribute about 30 billion RMB revenue. Okay, it is around 40% of the total revenues, and the wealth management business also contribute around 15% of their total revenue, and the insurance business counts for 8% of their revenue. So without payment, then it's difficult for the Ant group to market their credit products or their wealth management product or insurance products. I don't think it's a challenge. What I read from the statement issued by the regulators, for example, the new regulation requires a total 1 billion RMB in capital in order to set up an online micro lending business. I don't think it is difficult for Ant Group to raise 1 billion RMB capitals. And also, it requires the online lenders to fund 30% of the loans, their own money. Okay, it's difficult for the Ant groups, but only it will lower their profit margins, and also will lower their revenues. not difficult for the end group to meet the requirement. If the end group meets the requirement, it will significantly reduce its profit margin. I think they have the big data, and also they have the fintech technologies, and also the ecosystems. So comparing to the traditional banks, they can serve their customer better. They know their customer better, and also that's why they can create new products catering to the needs or the demands from their customers, and also it will enhance the customers' satisfactions. The traditional banks can only provide services with a lower frequencies because people visit the physical branches maybe once a year or once every a few months, okay? And maybe they visited the mobile banks only once a week, okay? But the Ant Group provide very rich ecosystems, so they can interact with their customers on a daily basis. So it increased the frequency. I think the intention of the regulators is to ask all the company, okay, they should comply with the existing regulations. As long as they are engaged in lending business or financial businesses, they have to comply with the existing rules. But in the past, the government is kind of lenient in terms of implement those rules. Okay, now the government just want to tighten the regulation on the fintech industries, including those big tech companies. But I think this is the trend. It's not just isolated incidents in China. If you look at the Facebook or the Googles and all kind of, they are encounter the similar scrutiny, the regulations from different government. All the big company, all the big tech company will be affected. But the Tencent, because they have a lucrative business in the gaming, so that's why they are not that aggressive involved in the fintech business. So they have WeBank, and which is their branches in the fintech business. But I think Tencent will be affected much less comparing to Ant Group. So it's difficult to predict. I guess it will not happen in the near futures because the government, the regulator, list 5 requirements to ask to Ant Group to reform its business. It may take some time. The Ant Group are asked to return to its original business, which is online payment. And I think the Ant Group are asked to establish financial holding companies to manage its business. So if they want to establish a financial holding company, it takes some time to apply for the licenses. And so I don't think it will happen in the short runs. So if they reach agreement with the government, it can happen in a day. Okay, if they cannot reach agreement, it may take years. Okay, so you know, in China, if the government wants something happen, it can happen very quickly. If the government does not want it to happen, it will never happen.